This is about to be the most frustrating moment of the year for me. See, I have to assemble the Barbie Dreamhouse, which is fully furnished. That's a big deal. Fully effing furnished. I got a beer. You saw that part. That's the easy part. This is terrible. But don't worry, because on the back of the box, it says easy open lid. Yeah, this is gonna suck. I'm so just
My Barbie Dreamhouse! House! My Barbie Dreamhouse, I wanted it!
Vape.
We're live. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
They don't care if you vape.
Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to In Production.
We
Today,
started off really well today.
yeah, we want to start off with my Christmas misery. I just wanted to share it with you. If you listened in the background very closely, you might hear a Christmas story because I'm one of those people that turns it on and never turns it off. I just let it go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be that millennial, put my phone up.
Put your phone up, millennial. In the whatever we call this room today, office, studio, warehouse, gangster, hole,
Warehouse studio gangster hole.
is Jerrid Jones. We used to occupy his office. If you ever see the early Inside Craft Show videos, that was Jerrid's old office. Jerrid has since left us and gone to Atlanta.
I kind of got booted out.
He got booted out. I had to fire him. True story. Long story.
Merry Christmas.
So Jerrid is with us. Jerrid is a film and TV recordist. He's also done post audio as well, but right now you primarily work as a film and TV recordist. So we wanted to bring Jerrid on to throw out questions to you guys and gals out there. If you have questions about sound, I'll let him talk a little bit too. He already taught us something just asking which mic to use because we wanted to make sure the audio was a little bit better than normal since we have to represent it. And he was like, don't use that one, use this one. And we'll go over some of that stuff. So Jerrid's here with us. As always, Jeff, the bearded master of
Never
Mastery is here. A facial hair, the bearded one.
We can't monitor how it sounds, can we?
No, you just have to look at these
Yeah,
pots
you
over
look
here.
at the, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that technical.
Yeah. So yeah, you're
Well,
worried about how
the
low.
best tools you have are your ears.
Well, we don't.
And if you can't hear, don't go into sound.
Yeah, that's okay. Fair enough. There it is, and that's the live stream. See you guys next week. Anyway, we just wanted to sit down and chat about it. So on the show, we're going to talk to Jerrid about some sound stuff. If you have sound questions, he can talk a lot about some of the tech stuff, but he's got some great insight in the business. Merry Christmas, post-Christmas episode. Happy New Year. We won't see you till 2018 when this wraps up. So
Yeah,
if you're watching this and it's
after.
2018, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
And we just dated this episode with Christmas, but there's still great value.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're just watching this show for the very first time, it's random, but I will in the show notes themselves. So in the description, I will put times to links. So when we start talking to Jerrid, or you want to learn about HLG versus Log, which is something we're going to talk about briefly. If there's other little bits you want to see, I break them out in the notes, so you can click to those. Treat it like a podcast if you need to. I just throw it on in the background and only pay attention when there's something interesting. We try and give you a cue of what's going to happen. So, how was your Christmas?
It was fantastic. I got to spend time with my family, which I haven't seen in over a year.
Has it been that long, really?
Basically, yeah. I mean, I think I came down a couple months back, but only for a day or two.
Right.
I just been working.
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah, Jerrid's in Atlanta, which is obviously a hotbed of film, so that's one side of it. But you're close enough that...
Yeah, I'm close enough to drive home, but I'm lazy, and I need to rejuvenate the hours that I work and kind of get some life back into my brain with sleep and spending time by myself. Right? I told you earlier today that I will go an entire weekend without talking, only to order food.
That's awesome.
There are days, yeah, there are days. I assure you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to play live shows that I would love to have.
I'd love to play at our house at home if we had the ability just to play. Here's a little game we call Who Can Be Quiet the Longest.
I'll win.
Yeah, you will win.
I will
kids can't. No way. How's yours?
Good. Boring.
Yeah.
Sit around, watch movies, and drink some drinks.
All right. All right. Well,
I don't have kids.
Yeah.
How about you?
They were good. Obviously, you saw Barbie Dreamhouse was my nightmare.
Yeah.
We went to bed at 1 a.m. Kids up at 5:30.
Finally, don't have to worry about having it covered in the office anymore.
No, it's not hidden in the office. Jeff, it's been up here when the kids came up.
When do you think it'll break?
Oh, it's already broken.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It came with 2 random pairs of shoes.
Ooh, shoes.
Full-size shoes or
No,
Barbie shoes?
Barbie shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, just random
Full-size
shoes.
shoes would definitely be
And then-
worrisome.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing to our children. I think about the toys we buy them. So, like, I had Sarah buy them some lightsabers so that we can beat the crap out of each other. But we've got them the Barbie Dreamhouse, so that's one thing. Maybe we're pushing our kids in a direction, but that's what she wanted. In fairness, that's how we do it.
You're a horrible parent.
Yeah. The other one we don't know. We don't know what she's into yet because she's only 2, and she just apparently chips and shoes, are her jam.
To be fair, I'm 40 and I still don't know what I'm into.
Well, that's why we do this show.
Yeah.
Because we have no clue. We keep waiting for someone to pop up in and tell us.
The other one has 38 years to figure out what she's not into.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
She got
and
a food
it will
truck.
change throughout the year.
We gave her a little type
truck,
food
yeah.
truck.
Okay.
So we're forcing food on one of them. One of them will be a chef because Daddy is fat and hungry.
The other one's going to be an actress.
Oh, I hope not. Oh, God, no. The sound guys stare at their boobs all day. The separate story, we'll get to that in 1 minute. The beer we got
Jerrid
today...
just got fired from this next show.
The beer we got today is Simcoe
Bring on the
Amarillo.
harassments.
Nope.
Call me Jerrid Weinstein.
Jerrid. Oh, no, that's terrible.
I know.
Can you be Jerrid Whedon? Like, his is less bad in the world of a-hole men. So we're going to crack this Simcoe Amarillo. Jerrid's drinking a fancy water from Lincoln Park. So we're going to crack this beer. Yeah, it's Lincoln Park water. All right, let's see what's going on in the old Chatsky Palooza here. Let's pop that bad boy
A
up.
couple people showing up and saying hello.
And blam! There's some chats.
Hello.
Popping in. There it is right there. It's audio's no bueno to me. Hello?
That's old.
There
it is. Now I can relax my belly.
Mm-hmm. Scotland.
Yeah.
Hello, Scotland. Thanks for what
Mr.
time is it in
Andrew?
Scotland right now, Andrew?
It's
Yeah, well, that's a lot of math for me.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. in Scotland. Thank you. That's we're taking away from valuable TV time.
Yeah.
Who are we kidding? The BBC doesn't put out anything great anymore.
Yeah. There was some little show on yesterday on BBC.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
some people.
so excited for the new Black Mirror.
Oh, I think he's talking about Doctor Who. Who?
Yeah.
I haven't watched that in a couple of years. I'm kind
There's a
of.
Christmas special.
Yeah.
There was. I didn't watch it. I don't watch it.
I
It's
don't have a
been-
problem with it.
I don't
It's been
either. I
2
just don't
years
watch it.
since I watched Doctor Who. Since
Yeah.
they
There you
brought
go.
the new Doctor on. I
Yeah.
watched that full season with the new Doctor, and
Yeah.
then I got too busy, and I was traveling. That's actually when I was living in LA, so I didn't really have TV.
Oh, I get it. I totally get it. I don't. My TV time is allotted to children.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of Minnie
Which
Mouse.
is probably more entertaining than what's on TV.
That's
Yeah.
mostly true.
Very
That is
true.
mostly true. So, yeah, how's everybody in the Chatsky Craft Show? Oh, Australia, switch back.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
How does it sound, by the way? I'm really
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
curious.
So the sound guy needs to know how it sounds. It looks
Can you
like
hear us all?
MPEG.
yeah.
That would be an MPEG
8:10
question,
p.m. in Scotland. There we go.
Jared
Who
was
watched
right.
Die Hard? Best Christmas movie ever. I can tell you one guy who did.
I
Jeremy
watched
Sandy.
it.
We know he did.
Yeah, Jeremy watched it probably 20, 30 times yesterday.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about a bunch of different things, one of them being sound, and we'll get to that in a beat. The other thing being HLG, can it replace log? Jeff has a short answer, which is...
Yes. Yes, it can't. Oh,
Jerrid has
You don't
no
sound
idea.
guy.
You're a sound guy. You don't know anything.
He has no clue.
whatever.
Sounds
I don't even know
great.
what- I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's
know.
okay.
don't
Nobody
have to
does
worry
the
about it
watches
yet.
the show. No one has a clue.
Nobody on a feature that you're working on is working
No.
on HLG anyways.
Okay.
But one thing I wanted to do is go ahead and kick off a very special episode of Baby Seal Troll Force Troll of the Week. So today's episode of special edition of Baby Seal Troll Force is a very personal episode that goes to a very dear family member. He's a little bit distant for me, but his name is the Dude. I would like for you to... I have not asked you about it. I've only read a Facebook post that was... something your wife posted that was paraphrased. If you want to give a girl something for Christmas who has everything... and then
Hold
basically,
on, I'll just read it for you.
Yeah. So I'll read it. You go ahead and maybe set up the situation here a little bit, and then we'll play the reveal out.
Well, Dude's an older dog. So he's my dog.
Oh. Yeah.
Did you read about it yesterday?
No.
I'm sorry. Oh.
No. Sorry. I'm terrible. I'm not online a lot.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay. Anyways,
I don't tag you ever, so it doesn't matter. See you on Instagram every day.
That's a
Social
reason.
media,
But go
man.
ahead.
So here it is from your wife. What do you get the girl who has everything? My dog thought I needed a Jackson Pollock of poop. Merry Christmas, everyone. Can you please elaborate on the story of what you went through?
So yeah, Dude's a very old dog of ours that has had some issues lately. But yeah, we went to sleep last Christmas Eve. Woke up Christmas morning. Poop. Walked through. Ran through. Pooped everywhere. Soft poop. Hard poop. Liquid poop. Poop everywhere. Yeah, it was fun.
That reminds me of, and this is a good tip for everybody out there, the Rumba. You know, the
Oh, I read it. I read it.
Yeah.
I read it. The Rumba.
It's very much like that without the Rumba part.
Oh, so you didn't even have a good
It was everywhere. No.
You didn't even have technology help you out with this. This
Nope.
was a natural.
It was all analog, bro. This is
Yeah,
straight.
this is straight analog.
analog. Poop.
You have the
Yes.
hipster dude.
Yes. He decided to walk around in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you have a better troll than that? I thought that was a pretty good troll. Your dog trolled you so hard,
No,
bro.
he definitely did. I couldn't get out of bed.
Well, did he
Like,
jump in
without
bed?
having to touch poop.
Did he jump in bed with you?
No, he
Okay.
can't jump in bed. He's too old.
Yeah.
At least you had an island.
You haven't been around in a while.
You had an island in that volcano.
Yeah.
Well, the fun part was we have another dog named Napoleon who was in a corner
And they're wiener
in his
dogs.
blanket,
They're wiener dogs.
just with his head out, scared to death of poop.
I would be.
He's scared of poop, though.
I would.
He's literally scared of his own poop.
You know who else is scared of poop? Somebody we had on the show. No, Horst.
Horse is
Oh,
scared
yeah.
of poop? That's something I never actually
Yeah.
knew.
You never heard the story?
He's
Quickly.
very terrified.
So
of
I had a dog, and I gave the dog an entire can of dog
Oh,
food.
well, hold on. Are we talking about dog?
It was dog.
Okay.
My dog named our dog. Collectively, everyone in this room is
Yeah, pretty
Liquid's
much.
dog. We were all
It's Liquid.
roommates at some point.
Yeah.
Dog. I gave him a can of liquid dog, or canned dog food,
Uh-huh.
Which became liquid.
which became liquid very quickly. Horse lived in one side of the house, so dog ate the dog food and proceeded to basically poop at every door, and each door it got progressively more liquid. Do you remember the movie Demon Night? That's an old HBO movie where they pour the blood and it seals and demons can't get in. That happened to Horst. Horst has a gag reflex to poo, he can't handle it. So when he opens the door to step out of his room, there's poop all over the house. Horst was trapped in his room to such a point that the windows had been painted shut so he couldn't escape.
That was Arl.
That was our old, yeah.
That was horrible.
And he chipped the paint off to finally break his way out so that he
Wow.
could call me, at which point I came home and literally cleaned up massive amounts of poop.
Poop.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Merry Poopmas.
So Trev is asking, how did we get here?
How do we get to poop?
Yeah.
Oh, it's very easy.
Baby Seal Troll Force.
Yeah.
No.
We like poop conversations. It's on my brain because my kids asked for a gift that was a kitty cat, and we had no idea, so we had one of the elderly members of our family give them this kitty cat. Well, you put a little piece of food in the kitty cat's mouth, and then you pull her back like this, and she poops it out. She shittles it out, right? It comes out, and she goes, no, 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 no! So
I can see it now.
it's terrible. So
I
then
can't
we got that for the kids, and in the process of doing that, the other item we got, that was for the littlest, because we didn't know. We thought it was just a little kitty cat. And then the older one wanted a this Barbie thing that they don't make an app for anymore, so it was completely no perp. It was really stupid. I have no idea how it's even being sold. And she took it back, and guess what she bought? Another kitty that poops. So now we have two kitties that poop. So that's why, Trev, we got onto poop. It is fresh into my brain,
Lots
as
of
in
poop.
Jeff's life.
Yes.
And that's our Baby Seal Troll
I have
Force
no
today.
animals or kids, so I don't have to deal with that other than my own poop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But that's good.
Yeah.
That was kind of an awkward period.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into sound. So if you guys have any questions for Jerrid, he's the sound guy. Let's go backwards a little bit, kind of set up.
Welcome to introduction.
Yeah. So, so Jerrid has worked with me and Jeff on. He's worked on all the films I made, with the exception of being the only one being Heirloom and any of the commercial stuff. But on the feature side,
You were actually how I got into this.
yeah.
So.
Oh well, that's that's always a.
I
plus
needed
in
a
life.
job, and he was generous enough back when he could do that. And now,
But you used to make nuts and bolts.
yeah,
Yeah.
I miss those days.
You'd literally stand in a machine, and the rod would come out like this, and you'd clip it, and it'd fall into a bucket. And then the next one, it'd fall in a bucket. That's what you did.
Yeah.
But you didn't pull a lever to make that.
No,
it was
I programmed
automatic.
this all. Programmed it.
Yeah.
I had to do math back when I could.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't do it
I
anymore.
can't
So Jerrid went from making nuts and bolts into getting into sound, and then from that point you kind of blossomed into it, and you connected to it, right? I mean, you just worked.
Yeah,
in that
because
space.
there was at one point where I said, Drew, I want to get into camera because I'm bored with sound. And you're like, I have no one else. I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
So manipulation. Tip number 1: manipulate your friends into doing jobs you don't want to do or know how to do.
Yeah.
Or
So
too lazy to learn.
At that point in time, I decided to learn whatever I could,
Right.
as much as I could.
Right.
So, and so far, it's paid off.
Right. So majority of what you did was
I would say
post. And in the beginning,
Yeah.
it was post.
Yeah, because I ran across one of the science videos.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't mention those or the first movie.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
movie?
first.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So then Jerrid got
I'll
tasked
mention
with doing
first,
live
too.
sound, and you kind of went from there. And you started out with really the kit that we all had, because that's back when we had to shoot the first 2 films on T3Is,
Yeah.
the Canon T3I, and it was a nightmare. And the sound kit they gave you was really not a great,
was like
high grade sound kit.
Rolling 4-track recorder,
I have it somewhere.
digital recorder.
I have it somewhere.
And like a Sennheiser G3 packs. They're still good. There's nothing wrong with them.
Right, but it was got thrown into it.
Yeah, you mean there's a whole distance. Anyway, nerd.
Yeah. So he gets thrown into low tech stuff, and we have to make it work, and we did, and we pushed through and made it kind of.
Well, to kind of segue off that, years ago I was talking to a friend, and he ran into this recording engineer for music, which is totally different world.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when you say live sound, it's like live sound, or I would say more production sound, versus live sound. I think immediately concerts.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
totally different world, different things we have to deal with. But yeah, one of the things he asked that producer was, well, why'd you use this versus this and that? And he's like, that's just what I had.
Right.
That's just what I had.
Right.
So you use what you have to your best abilities until you can get the piece that will make that job easier.
Right.
That's really all we're doing. I mean, that's what technology is doing for
Right.
us.
It's solving a problem,
Right.
essentially. Maybe
I no
making
longer
phone-
have to use my memory.
Right. Right. No, I get it.
I used to memorize phone numbers. I
Yeah.
don't do it anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Right.
I know my wife's, and that's the only one I remember.
I don't even know your wife's phone number.
Why would you?
So there you go. But yes, all right. So then you moved from that, and you went into post audio and started dealing. At first, we did a bunch of feature work in Logic, and
What a nightmare.
and it is right. It was a brutal scenario. One of the problems with using Logic for post audio, in the truest sense, the same thing I feel about Adobe Audition. In that sense,
It's not designed for it.
It's not designed for it, right?
No, it's all about the time code and be able to interlock the time code with the video and making sure everything syncs. Otherwise, you have to go and hand sync it, which we did with an entire feature.
Right.
And then when your director / editor decides to change something, this little section in the middle of it, it's very hard to match it.
Right. Which is one of the big things. That's why if you've ever heard me go on rants about time code, it's because I learned very quickly that the other people that were willing to get paid but sacrifice parts of their lives in order to make a movie happen, whether it was post color or post audio, I was actually making it a terrible, terrible experience for them, because I would make changes, and without that TC, the time code to represent those changes, especially with like window burns, you had no clue. So you're guessing.
No, you have to nudge it, and then you have to check everything from that point on.
Right.
To make
And
sure
that's a
it stayed
nightmare.
in sync. Yeah, it's a total nightmare. But I learned so much. so much by doing that.
Right. Well, it's the same way Jeff had to color grade a movie that had no cuts. Not because it was a real-time movie, because the editor on that particular movie would not give Jeff it was the movie we don't normally talk about, but it was the movie that they would not give Jeff the ability to make edits. They would not give him an XML out and give him that feed, so he was kind of stuck in this space of doing that. So like he had to do it with power windows. So Jeff is pretty damn good at power windows and all that. So same thing.
I had to undo vignettes.
Yeah, you had to undo
that were already
vignettes.
done.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. Remember those?
Yeah, it's like
I'm pretty
with
sure.
a JPEG, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So then in post audio land, you ramped it up. We got you into Pro Tools. You did some
Yep.
stuff. One of my favorites was I thought Sons of Liberty was a movie we did together. And you've done other projects, but I'm only going to speak to the ones that I can make a direct reference to.
Post-wise, everything I've done was with you. I haven't really
Okay.
jumped off into the post world since
Right.
our projects.
But Sons was the first time we had a full
Yeah.
Pro Tools run, and we had things mixed in 5.1.
Mhm.
But we also made a very critical flaw that I will always remember. It's the first movie we got to mix in Los Angeles with a real mixer. And do you remember what the flaw was? What John was upset about with Sons?
I took too much of the sound out.
Right.
The clothing noise.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was so clean.
was bizarre.
You've done such a great job of getting it so clean,
We had to add all that back in.
which cost us a week of post in order to go back and put it in, because you don't realize when there's no ruffling, it suddenly takes you out of the movie because it's too clean. So that's one of the things I wanted to at least mention. Something we learned from experience is like, don't freak out if your audio has a little bit of, not ruffle of the mic, but clothing noise.
The most important thing is, when recording production sound, is making sure you can hear what they're saying.
Right.
Plain simple.
Right.
If there's that on top of it, or that in between it, it's fine.
Right.
It's totally fine. They can cut it out if they want to. They can leave it in if they want to.
Right.
The damaging side is if I'm talking and it's on there and it's hard to take it out. But at the same time, if you see what's happening, people want it. Now, the hard part is it may be too loud.
Right.
So they probably will ADR.
Right.
For situations like that. Just totally depends.
Yeah.
But we saw the same thing. So you went in the post side. You learned a lot about back end kind of scenarios because you were the recorder. So Jerrid did all the live. I'm sorry, he did the production audio recording, and then turned around and did the post audio mix. So you had the advantage of
huge, unique experience.
Right, because you got to evaluate your own work.
Right. So essentially, everything I did in post taught me what I could get away with and what I couldn't get away with in production.
Right.
Which is a massive advantage.
Yeah.
I know, like, if there's an AC running, like, if it's too loud, then we won't be able to clean it up as well. Because you're going to start taking away frequencies of the human voice, which then you cannot understand what they're saying, so then you have to ADR the session.
And so ADR is
additional dialogue replacement.
Additional dialogue replacement, right? And so the reason that's an issue...
Not automatic.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't automatically happen.
It does not automatically happen. The reason ADR is an issue, and majority of big studio films can do it, but on smaller indie shows, the reason it's an issue is typically you only have these actors for a limited amount of time, so suddenly when you have to bring them back in to get lines, it typically costs you time, energy, and money you may or may not have, and you're detracting away from...
Essentially, it's just not in the budget.
It's not in the budget, so ADR is
large
always...
feature, it's in the budget.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, most large features are ADR. We were talking about that earlier.
Actually, I talked to a production... I shouldn't say production. A re-recording mixer years ago. He said, "This movie, I'm not going to say it because I don't remember it. For one, two, I don't know if I can. These movies, ADR, everywhere.
Wow.
Everywhere, start to finish.
So it's almost like, what's the purpose of having good quality audio?
Well, the reason they do the whole thing is they have the actor there for a limited amount of time, so they may as well do the whole thing in case they miss something and they want to replace it.
Yeah.
Oh,
so now they don't have to bring the actor back in.
Makes sense.
Or if the actor's in London, they can't say, well, get him in a studio in London, it costs all that money, blah, blah, blah. It's done. It's there. If they need it, they have it. If they don't need it, they don't use it.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the whole thing.
Right.
And that's the purpose.
That makes sense.
But you're also looking at billion-dollar budgets versus $100.
Yeah, exactly.
So $100, it's more important to be a better recording engineer for production.
And that's kind of what ties into this audience. I mean, we have a few filmmakers that follow this that may And some of these guys and gals that watch this show are way talented, and I can't wait for them to get their own feature or episodic or whatever it might be. And you guys will be down the ADR path. But one of the things is the majority of us are sometimes generalists, where we are primarily videographers or directors of photography, or our job is to capture a motion image, and sound is always thrown in at the last minute, or they want it, and maybe it's a way to make more money. So one of the things I wanted to talk about on a tip side is we were talking about before. So with the mic we have up there versus, say, this mic. So this is what I thought, this is a Sennheiser, we think it's like a 460. None of us can actually remember.
I can't even tell you. I should know these things, and again, I'm not a technical guy. I have a general idea of how things work with most of these mics. I know the longer shotgun mics typically have a narrower pattern, and they're more for distance.
Right, and so that's one of the
wide
things.
shots.
So this microphone, if you guys can see it,
I could be
typically
completely wrong,
but
so don't hold me to it.
but for the most part, I've figured it out somewhat because I was watching some of our interviews. So I was using this for interviews because I thought, shit, it's the right interview mic. And then we get good audio. Yeah, America. We get good audio, but it does feel like it tapers off. So that was one of the questions was, does this mic, so Jerrid's like pointing out the mic we're using is a shorter mic that has a wider throw so that it gets more of the room ambience in that kind of space.
In the technology in mics nowadays, they're way better than what they used to be. So it's hard to find a crappy mic.
Right, but it is.
It is very possible.
It is, which brings into this one.
Yeah.
Which this is an Asden mic, which maybe some of the users on this channel prefer that kind of stuff, but it's an Asden mic. It's an SGM1X, whatever that means. It has this little toggle switch. It's straight line and looks like
it's a roll off. So it's cutting all the low ends or allowing the low ends to go through.
Got it. So that's what that switch does. No idea.
The other switch is your phantom power. This is the other reason I don't like either one of these mics. You have to use a battery to supply the phantom power.
No, this one does without it. It's passive. I use it all the time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It just gives you the ability to turn that on and use it.
I'd rather just put a cable or a transmitter that has the phantom power to supply it than a battery.
So there's another thing.
Weird. I'm just weird that way.
No, that's the phantom power thing. I get it because the battery, I've seen and heard sound differences when the battery is like halfway versus full.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because it's not able to capture all that. So what about like, so you go from post-production audio. So again, gear is important if you think about it, but also consider the kind of mic you're going to buy. Like
get the best you can afford for what you're trying to do.
Again, well, 416 is in the 416 the standard. It's the most workhorseable. Or used to be.
It used to be. Yeah. It used to be the standard.
That's Sennheiser 416 is what we're talking about.
416 and the Sennheiser 50 gh5.
Are just kind of good standard mics.
Standard mics, so you're going to get good quality sound. If you don't know how to use the mic, you're not going to get good quality sound. Period.
Right.
If you don't know what the pattern is and how to, or just listen to what you're doing with that mic, then you're not going to get good sound.
All right, so you then end up on set and you're doing a lot more, which is lavs and all that kind of stuff. And you know, the thing that I was laughing about, like, he doesn't like to name drop, but I will. Like, one of the movies that I was excited you worked on because of the cast was you worked on Bad Moms 2, Electric Boogaloo, and
Christmas.
You got to work with Christmas Bell.
Christmas Bell.
Kristen Bell, who's like the love of my life next to my wife and my kids. Like, I love me some Kristen Bell.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Super sweet.
And delightful lady. But in that shape, you're dealing with actors that have been around a long time. We talked about, there was a story from, I don't know what movie, don't say it, but there was the Russell Crowe story that I'll brag about you about, where Russell Crowe told your boss that, or your, you know, the mixer on the show, that you guys were the most professional crew he's ever met.
Yeah.
That's delightful.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Good. So can you talk about that professionalism? Because mic placement is one thing, right? And there's various theories on mic placement and all that. And if anybody has a question about it, throw it in the comments. Jeff's monitoring. We'll talk about that in the Chatsky box. But can you talk about the professionalism element, because you have to interact with the cast in a way different than, say, camera or anybody else?
Absolutely. I mean, my job is to introduce who I am and say, hey, I have to put this invasive device invasively on you. Because, I mean, they're very concerned when they walk away as if people are listening to them. We all know that, was it
Christian Bale?
Yeah, his thing. Now, I've met that mixer, and I know the story, and I know who that person is. He's very professional. He did not leak that. Someone else did.
Right.
So, just because the files are out there doesn't mean it's from the source. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. Cool. Anyways, yeah. So it's making these people who are in the spotlight all the time comfortable with who you are and what you have to do, and allow them to let you do your job. So it's more psychology than technical. So it's all about making people comfortable and wanting to come over and let you do your job.
Right.
That's really the approach I try to take. I don't really get into the, because the mixer is going to, I'm more of a utility right now. I've mixed. And
on bigger shows, but you're on bigger movies.
Right, I'm slowly working my way up, but I'm kind of liking taking the back seat and not being the boss.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, the mixer, the head of the department will tell you what mic he wants, what mic he doesn't want, and I've got a relationship with the mixers I work with now. Like, listen, I can't use this mic. I'm going to use this one because of the clothing or the lack of clothing,
right?
Or you know, whatever. For whatever reason, they usually trust me nowadays. That do whatever you need to do. I trust you.
Right.
Just make it sound good like you normally do. And I'm usually 90% with my miking.
Right.
Where I have to go in and touch or not touch. So the idea is to do it one time, within 2 minutes per actor, and never have to touch them again until they're ready to take it off.
Right. Which is a big deal because, again, you want to give the actor space and let them be. Or,
but yeah, they're trying to lock in the performance.
Right.
They're trying to rehearse with other people, or they just don't want to be bothered. They just. I understand that because I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to have a conversation every day all the time. Like I stated earlier, I like to sit at home and not talk on the weekends.
No, I get it. And it's something I learned, I've learned a couple of times where I had to, it was on a smaller show and it wasn't with you, but I had to go talk to the actor and let them know that I need to make a mic adjustment. And they were not happy because they were in the middle of a scene and I could not capture the scene without. So it's very important up front to make sure where that mic is. And mic placement is a very interesting art that everyone has different opinions on and how to place things. But the reality is it just needs to be done right. Is there a prime spot, let's say for an interview type scenario, is there a prime spot to place that microphone?
Chest area is usually the best.
Like on women between
the breastbone. Men, women, the breastplate, the sternum is usually the best place.
Right.
Because it's an omni mic, and if they turn their head, you still get, if it's too close and they do that, you're not going to pick up because of the pattern of the mic.
Right.
If it's down here and they turn their head, it's opened up the pattern a little bit more. So it's typically that's the key spot. Now a lot of times you can't do that, or they like to whisper.
Right.
So they can't hear me right now because I'm whispering.
Right.
And even if they're wearing a lavalier mic, you can't hear me.
Right. Now I get it.
So yeah, if you're wearing a lavalier mic and it's up here and you're whispering, there's a thing we call a stage whisper. Hey, stage whisper, we need to hear what you're talking about, because all the audience wants to know is what they're saying and how's it propelling the story.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
You know, the things that get me the most is whenever you watch a scene and they're in a bar and it's a loud bar and they're just talking normally.
Right.
Like, no, you have to talk loudly because you're in a bar. You have to give that feeling of that room. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent there. Sorry.
That's a directorial note, sir.
Yeah. Which, as an audio person, I do not do.
Right. Not your place.
I go to the director and I'll say, hey, shouldn't they be yelling?
Yeah.
And the director will go, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't have to do that because the good directors already know.
Right.
I've already instructed them. No, listen, you're talking quiet, or you got to bring it up. So. Yeah.
And push it out there. So, all right, there you go.
Anyways,
so placement for mic there. What about
Typically
a boom? Let's say it is just, again, interview or close. Let's just say it's a close-up scene. Obviously as close as you can, but what is there an angle, an optimum
theoretically
angle?
the close you can, but if the person talks loudly and you have it right here, you're going to distort your mic. So it depends on the person.
Which is why there's an operator versus just sitting it on a pole.
Yeah, but an interview, you sit it on a pole.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so, like, for instance, if I'm here, I'm not really moving, you could set it above me at a certain spot, and it will be fine. But if it's someone who talks loudly, you want to back it up a little bit.
Like me.
If they talk softly, you want to bring it down a little bit.
Right, like Jeff.
So, yeah. It's everything. That's the hardest part about my world. It's very situational.
Right.
Because I can put a mic on a shirt one day and it'll be perfectly fine. The next day, it will not work at all. Same spot.
Right.
Because costumes could have starched the shirt.
Right.
And starch is bad.
Yeah, starch is bad for sound.
Right. Because it makes it crunchy, and you think silks. Silks are awful because they the way they it's like corduroy. I mean, you've got a mic on an object, it's going to make noise.
Right.
blah, blah,
So it's all about a balancing act in terms of that space.
Right. Does anybody have questions? Because I
Yes, we have a couple questions.
Yeah, so here you go,
Sorry.
questions.
Well, the first one actually isn't for you.
That's fine. I've
Uh,
already used my words for the week.
Shaba, might be pronouncing that right. I'm not sure. McCoy. To let you know, I got the gh5 and the Ninja Inferno. Now I have a question regarding the audio hot shoe gimmick. How do I get 8 channels into the Atmos to a gh5 HDMI?
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can either.
I think the
I do
HDMI
not
is only
know.
going to send over 2 channels, so it's a
I think
2-channel
it is
amp,
too.
and it's coming through. So that gimmick up there
Yeah.
is a 2-channel only. It's
Okay.
left and right, or you can stereo 1,
Okay.
Mhm.
right? So you can double it up, which means you couldn't get 8 channels into it because there's no 8 channels coming out of
Yeah.
the camera whatsoever.
Yeah, well, if it's not programmed for 8 channel, I mean, if there's not.
And the only way I can think of
You need a
doing
preamp
it-
for every
yeah,
channel, though, don't you?
Yeah, you'd have to preamp it and then mix it and then throw it in as one channel.
Not necessarily, because if, like, Dante is an Ethernet cable, basically.
Oh.
And you can do, like, 80 channels.
But the on the mic side, there's 80 potential amps in, or I mean, not really.
Yeah,
but,
essentially, yeah.
yeah,
What you're saying.
virtual amps
Yeah.
even. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a. So this only has two preamps essentially. So because of that, you're only going to get
Inputs, you only have
2 inputs. So you're only
Yeah.
going to get 2 channels out. Essentially, is what it is.
Right.
And in this case, you either have a left or right. Like the other thing is,
If you want to get 8 channels in there, you want a mixing board with 8 channels in, and then you push them in there, but you're not going to get isolated channels.
which is a question I want to bring up real quick, and we'll get to the rest of these questions.
Yeah.
It's
There's
all
only
right.
2
So we were talking about this audio hot shoe gimmick, and I was saying how awesome it was for on the GH5 for guys like me and Jeff that might go do an interview. Like we interviewed Gary Oldman with that, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
Boom and a lav, right, Gary.
How was that?
Oh, it was delightful. I'll tell you.
It
all
was,
for it.
yeah. It was.
There's some parts
it
that I
was
can't say here, but it was
Okay.
delightful.
extremely interesting.
Okay.
He is a wonderful, and he was just sitting there vaping. I was like, "This is so cool." Anyway,
Oh, man.
yeah,
Vaping more
Commissioner
than
Gordon
does.
was delightful. Anyway, so Gary, we used this, right? So
Okay.
Uh-huh.
that was
We
fine
did.
for what we were doing.
Yeah.
However, I would not use this if I were making a film. And we
God,
talked
no.
about why the Red doesn't have one of these gimmicks, and why the Alexa doesn't actually have a good audio gimmick in, right? So why is
Yeah,
it
they
that
have
pro?
a 5-channel pin.
Yeah, you can do a 5-channel pin into it. All.
Yeah.
But that's probably
But
so you
still-
can send audio from.
No, we send time code through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's-
So can you talk about that? Why is that like what's the separation point?
Okay, so for a film set, it was just typically where you would see the Reds or the RA Alexas or whatever. Because you have a professional person sitting there monitoring the audio and what you're intaking. Just like you have a professional person looking through the lens at nothing but the frame. And you have a professional person sitting there looking at the lens focus, and that's all they're doing. They're not really looking at the frame. They're looking
Right.
at if things are in focus. And that's all they're doing, because you have a limited amount of time and a lot of money that goes away if you screw it up.
Right. So it's a matter of professionalism in the sense of craft, right? And that's
And
what
the
we've
difference between a professional and an amateur.
been, pay.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's
I
what
was gonna say,
we've
I
been
just don't
saying.
give a crap about sound.
That's what we've been saying on this. Is it one of the things is this camera is great for the fact that if you did have to be both, it gives you the tool to do it. However, I would always rather have a professional there to fill that hole than me
Absolutely.
trying to wing it, because I will make a mistake and
Or
you're
There's too much to
Yes, we
monitor. You're
both
worried
have.
about the
or
lights,
delete
the
audio from a
interviews,
project that you finished.
the cards, the focus. There's so many things
Yeah.
you have to pay attention to, and if you delineate or you take away your time to look at any of that, you're
Right.
something's bound to fail.
Right. So just a
And that was a
thought.
lesson learned when we first started.
Oh,
'Cause I
of
wanted
course.
to help and do all this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather just sit in the corner and be bored half to death until it's my time to do what I need to do.
Right. So you're focused on that. It's
Right.
like an athlete. All right. Another question.
I'll stay down here. Andrew Gibby, what headphones do you use to monitor?
For what I do, I use Shure in-ear plugs. I mean, they're
What about your for your mixing too?
no. I think I have Audio Technica something or other. I don't know the name. I just put something on that works for what I need to do. Like the Shures are great because they just stay out of my way. Because as a utility, I'm moving around on set. Sometimes I have to boom, and I don't want clunky things around me or things that will grab onto C-stands or lighting things
Right.
and then pull out of my ear or pull that stand down and hit an actor or whatever. That's the worst thing in the world that could happen.
Right.
Things that, those keep me from being clumsy. They're not the best of like hearing certain things because the low end's gone.
It's reference though.
Essentially,
Right.
yeah.
But on your bigger mixing ones, you have whatever they are. These Audio Technicas that.
Yeah, I just for whatever reason, it's what my ears have become accustomed to throughout the years that I like, and I know what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I have.
I need to redo a hearing test, but I know what I can and can't hear. I can't hear low end that well.
Right.
But I can hear a high end better, or more as a child would hear it.
Right.
That's just the way my ears have tested. For whatever
That's crazy because like there's a point
reason.
where
It's the opposite. It's I'm the opposite.
You're the
of what I
opposite.
should be.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because normally there's a point where as an adult there's a tone that by age, I don't know if it's still out there, but by age, mine cuts out slightly above my age, but I still cut out. I miss those. But I've heard you, and we talked about it with convergence because we had all that despairing audio, and we were really, really, pardon the expression, but effing with people, and we pushed it too far.
Which is by far my favorite project.
Oh, dude, there's so much stuff. There's so much film theory in that movie that is like from the imagery to the audio. We spent detail, but no one will catch that unless they're willing to commit to that concept. So that's a separate beast. But
anyways.
Yeah, so
so I can hear it ringing over there. I can hear it humming over there, and these are things that I have become accustomed to listening for on set.
So that said, I would say your answer to the question is find a set of headphones that work for your best hearing solution as opposed to general.
Right.
But what about those standard Sony?
And comfort.
Yeah, the Sony studio monitors that were so popular, just the cups.
I think I have a lot of friends in the industry that wear the Sonys. They have. I don't know the name.
No, it's all right. But I'm just saying,
there's
just
a whole list of things.
Just look at some of the Sony ones if you're looking for a good general earbud. Ear over ear. Sorry.
Yeah.
I use these
as a
modal
mixer.
ones.
I would use an over ear.
Yeah.
As a utility or boom op, I like to use the in ear because of the mobility of it.
Right. But again, unless you're mixing really and you really care about the sound, I think a reference audio is probably going to be the most valuable. If you're like doing one of these jobs where you're recording the audio. If your job is not to mix, because you can't really mix, it's not like I can put a little channel gain on there and funky with it, then you might as well just deal with the reference audio and know, and know exactly what it is. Even Comtech-wise, I mean, the director's getting Comtechs, and I'm only listening to reference audio. I'm not listening to a good mix of the audio.
If I were ever to direct, I think I've told you this before, but if I were ever to direct, which God help us all, I would probably be sitting next to the sound card.
Right.
And plugged into whatever the mixer is listening to, because that's where my heart is. That's where I want to be now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the sound element.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Another question?
Oh yeah, there's lots.
Oh, good.
MPEG was asking if the camera was a limiting factor. I think that's for the 8-channel thing, and so yes, it would be.
Yeah, definitely.
For that one.
Well,
but couldn't you get an H6N?
You have to know. I mean, it wasn't until roughly 2005 when isolated channels. Recording isolated channels became the norm.
Yeah.
It used to be for the standard for years. You could have a 24-channel board. You would intake 24 channels, but you're only recording 2.
Really?
Or you're recording a mix of those channels.
And that's what was kicked out.
It used to be dictated from production what post would use. Like the mixer would say, this is the best audio. Now, because everything's isolated, you can put 18 million radio mics out there and 18 million boom mics out there, record each individual channel.
Wow.
Now post dictates to production what they want. So if we miss an actor, don't wire an actor, they're like, why didn't you wire the actor? We're getting notes from them now. Like, well, because the actor didn't want to wear it.
Right.
Or the actor wasn't wearing any clothes.
But that's true. We talked about that too. That's another thing, and we'll get to some more questions. Yeah. But that was another note we had about the wiring. Could you go back to the history of that? You were talking about the wiring thing, how it used to not. The wide shot and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've had a great opportunity in the last year and a half, 2 years to meet some of the mixers of like the Spielbergs of mixers, I guess you could say. And they would tell me they never used to roll on wide shots because they were always going to get the closest.
They didn't roll on a wide shot. I just want to. That floors me. They didn't roll on a wide shot. Okay.
Right, and here's the reason. So, as a director and an editor, How long are you going to stay on that wide shot?
2 or 3 beats and I'm out. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why do you need to roll on that?
Right. I'm going to pull the audio from the source.
Typically, why do you start with the wide shot?
So you can work your way in.
You can work your way in. You can, as you work your way in, you use less lights.
Right. And refine the performance.
And refine. Now, the wide shot allowed the actor to play and figure out with the director where they wanted the performance to go.
Right.
Why do you need all that? In sound, why you need all that? You don't need that.
That's just, I know, but nowadays it's like,
right.
you know, you're pulling back. And
well, nowadays, some directors will use nothing but the wide shot.
Right.
They'll go cut and let's move on. Let's move to another scene.
Right.
Because they love the wide shot.
Right.
Because that's the way they want the emptiness of the wide shot for that performance. Whatever.
But just like being a camera op or director of photography, your job is to capture the image the best you can.
Right.
And it's the same way with sound.
Absolutely.
And to brag on you again, it goes back, and God rest him. What was the producer's name? Galen? No, that's my other guy. You know what I'm talking about? Geza. So I end up on a phone conversation with this producer who does not know that I know Jerrid, and we're talking about audio, and it's for a job that I'm up to direct, and he's like, great, let's have a conversation. Unfortunately, he passed away, so God rest him. But in the conversation, he was like, I met this audio guy from Alabama that blew me away because I had 0 ADR, and it was a noisy set, and it was chaos and all of that. And I was like, oh, I know an audio guy from Alabama. His name's Jerrid Jones. And he turns, or he says, that's who I'm talking about. And it was a crazy small world moment, but also testified back that, like, Jerrid, as an audio technician, as a recordist, a production audio recordist, spent the time to make sure he got the most audio you could. And that's what I mean by solving that problem.
Yeah.
It's the same way.
It's essentially what we do nowadays. We capture, and that's why we wire everybody. We get as much as we can so you don't have to worry about the ADR when you get to the post-roll. I mean, because you and I have worked together on several features where you'd send me this as like the take was what you wanted, but the dialogue wasn't recorded properly, or they hit the mic or whatever. For whatever reason, the sound wasn't as good, but the sound on another take or the way they said something, I would go to you and say, I think they said it better here. It looks great here. But
which is a whole other facet of dialogue.
So I would take snippets from other other takes and put it on top of the take that you liked and kind of meshed it together for you. Which gave us those options.
Gave us performance enhancement, essentially.
Right.
That's what we did.
Yeah, we gave the actors steroids.
Well, the funny thing is, that's a job. That's a single person's job
normally.
Job, and you carried them all. Like, that's a whole separate beast. This isn't a praise you show, but I'm just saying that's a separate beast. A dialogue editor's job is to find those better takes and at least represent them to the director and let the director or producers make that decision.
And we've all watched Social Network behind the scenes.
Right.
And how Fincher would pull out syllables.
Right.
Which is, to me, is...
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, I can't cuss on this show.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in there. All right, any other cues?
Yeah, we're behind here.
Oh, sorry, guys. All right, we'll answer them. I won't take
it.
See, Trevor is, when you're on set, where it benefits to upgrading to something like a Tascam, a 6-track audio recorder over a 2 or a 4-track audio recorder.
Handheld recorder.
Yeah.
He's talking like, like the...
Then zooms.
It depends on your project. You want time code for one, unless your camera doesn't have time code.
Which that does not.
That does not.
Allegedly, there's a rumor the next version will.
Yeah.
But it does not.
Theoretically, you can send time code through
an audio channel.
An audio channel.
How well does that work?
It works great. I mean,
old school way of doing it.
When I've done playback, I've taken a wireless pack, put it on the back of a slate, ran the sound from Pro Tools, a track where I created time code, sent it through the wireless pack into the slate to give you time code so you can match.
There you go. So easy time code, you can send it through straight to the camera. So that little octopus, that Hail Hydra pack, whatever it's called.
But the slate you're talking about is a time code slate.
It's a smart slate. It's a smart slate. Yeah, but they needed it for playback of a song so they could say, okay, well, at this point in time we cut, but anyway,
I'm just saying it for this so that people don't try and do it with a regular slate.
Well, essentially, you could if you put.
You could
if you took, let's say, 2 wireless packs. I only say wireless because you don't want to run all these cables because if somebody trips and knocks over the camera, you're screwed. Which will happen.
Safety first. That was a conversation that was in the chat earlier.
But yeah, you could take 2 wireless packs, one to the slate and one to the camera, sending that same tone. It basically sounds like
You have to do it twice, so that you have the audio track doing it, and then the audio on the camera doing it.
Right, and it basically it sounds like
Oh, it's a terrible sound.
yeah, like dial-up, old modem.
Yeah.
It's a computer talk.
Absolutely
That's
terrible.
all. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's
How you would take it from there into the computer, I don't know.
well, it's burned in
That's
on
not
the
my
it's
fault.
striped
That's
in
not
on
my
the
problem.
audio.
Y'all figure that out.
Yeah.
I just do sound.
No, it comes in fine. You just interpret the channel correctly when you bring it back in. That's a whole separate issue.
But yeah, as far as Tascam 4-channel, 6-channel, 8-channel, brand, you know, they all capture audio, and they're everything that captures audio nowadays. It's good. Audio comes in, audio goes out. I mean, it's not top quality. I'm not an audiophile either. You know, the general audience can't tell the difference between one mic to the next.
Right.
So
it's a tool to get the best sounding.
Use what you can afford.
Right.
And if you need something different for another project, so if you're doing a short or whatever, and you're using one of these cameras, and you have at most 2 actors, get a 3-channel. So you can have a boom and 2 wireless mics if you want to use wireless mics. If your director's awesome to you and always gives you a shot to where you can bring the boom in, then you'll never need a wireless mic.
Right. But that's also if your actors can give the same performance, because that does get to be an issue.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But that's still directing.
Absolutely.
The director's job to ring that in.
Best actors are constantly giving the same performance over and over again, and it amazes me. I love seeing that.
Right.
Some actors are constantly going in different direction with each take, and they're still trying to figure out that character at that moment.
Right.
And then once they lock it in and they change to another direction, then they're locked, and that's the performance. And the directors will take notes like, okay, you did this type of performance, I want you to give it to me this time.
Right.
And the next time we'll go to that one, and so forth. Anyways, tangent again. Sorry.
That's cool. Peter is asking about post in a way. When you're editing dialogue, do you edit as dual mono tracks on a timeline, or keep the audio as a single mono track? Does it even matter for dialogue?
It doesn't matter. It's all mono. Now, what I always did was do. Well, we always had an issue coming back to me from Premiere because it always liked to double the channels up. It's a mono track. To save yourself the headache with directors and people who may or may not know what's going on, go ahead and do 2 mono tracks. That way it's one in left and one in right. So if you spit it out to somebody and let's say you're just doing the left mono channel and you only put it in the left speaker, they'll freak out like, what's wrong? But yeah, by the time if you get into surround sound, you'll end up putting it in whatever speaker you want.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I would save yourself trouble, do 1 track and send it to both speakers. That way you're only dealing with 1 track.
Right. There you go.
Did I just confuse myself?
No, it made sense.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Only you can answer that question.
Yeah. But yeah, I would just deal with 1 track and then send it to both speakers.
Gotcha.
Less tracks to keep up with.
Gabriel is asking, so in a film set, you would record audio separately. What would be the industry standard device to record with?
Ooh, nowadays it's between. It used to be the Zaxcom Diva.
Which recorded DVDs?
It had It had a hard drive, and then you could.
You would output to production the DVD.
You would output a DVD.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everything's gone to SD and CF cards. Thank God. Most people, I mean, there's 3 standard brands. You have Sound Devices, Zaxcom, and then you have, lately, if you have a lot of money, you have a Kantar.
Got it. Kantar's old school.
But they have the new Kantar 3, which is like $15,000 to $20,000 machine, which is all digital now, and it's a lot of the big guys are using those now. Sounds the same.
Right. But it's features and functions. It's the same.
Right. There's certain routing things that it can do. There's Dante that's within that, or I think they just released the Dante card for it. So there's particular reasons why people use particular devices. I'll just say that.
Sound Devices is probably the most accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the one I've seen on most of them.
Unlike
the other one for me has been Divas.
Yeah.
Divas have just been around forever.
I mean, there's some old school guys who have them, and they're like, they paid $15,000 for them 10 years ago, and they just, if it still works, then use it.
Right.
Jim Morgan used to
Yeah,
run Divas.
I
don't know
think
if
he still does. I think he still does. Yeah, but they're made by Zaxcom.
Yeah.
And Zaxcom makes the Diva, the other stuff I can't remember now.
Anyway, there you go. The most approachable sound devices.
There's
that's
a
what
few
I would
of
say.
them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sound
the most
devices is the one
affordable
I've
is
seen the
sound
most.
devices, and then Zoom's starting to come out with stuff that's affordable.
Yeah.
Like way affordable, which people gripe about. But
I like Zoom. We have a
Yeah, I don't
H6N
mind
that has
Zoom.
been like,
sounds great.
yeah.
Sounds great.
Hasn't done anything bad for us.
People complain about the noise floor in it or whatever. I don't even know what that means, but that's just what I read. I have noticed a difference in audio from... This does a good job, but the Zoom sounds better with the same microphone.
Okay.
I haven't done a full hardcore test to
Yeah.
take it to somebody who knows what the
We
hell
also
they're
have a
doing.
noise floor you have to worry about in the microphone too.
Right. So that's the other problem, right?
Yeah.
People are changing all this stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I like the Zoom products.
Your
I think they're
noise to
great.
gain ratio.
But the new Zoom, I don't know the model, not new, but there's a new Zoom now that takes time code. Like
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah, I think it's F8.
The F8, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then they have a board now, where it's like a 12-channel board. It's not a recording device, but it's a board with the inputs and stuff.
So you can then patch it into the recorder?
No, it records. The board
Oh,
records.
it does record.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
So it's more designed to sit down.
Is that like for podcasters probably?
I think it's also... I haven't really looked at it, but I want to say it's... it allows you to basically have a portable studio, so you can link it into a laptop or whatever.
Oh, got it.
It's like an interface. That's
There
what
you
I'm
go.
trying to
Yeah. There you go. H6N Zooms, all that kind of stuff. It's there. That's pretty
Yeah.
good things.
Here's a question for Jerrid, too, from Frank.
Hey, Frank.
You guys record anything but dialogue and room tone. Just DP to short here, and the sound guy captured everything. Drove me nuts. I usually do all this with libraries and post. So do you record anything other than dialogue and room tone?
I barely record room tone. We don't do it not much unless it's a specific room with a specific problem that we cannot
Yeah.
Yeah.
do anything with.
That's usually smaller features that don't
Yeah.
have the ability for...
Yeah, even TV and large stuff. We worked...
Well, I'm saying smaller features get room tone because they can't usually go back to those locations to recreate.
No, I just worked on a television show that goes to air, and we were working in a live market.
Oh, wow.
And we had a small section where we were working, but the rest of the place was still functional. But the post-production asked us to record tone. Because during the day, when it was open, you had all this ambience and stuff like that, so it made it hard for them to edit.
Right.
So if they had a tone, they can put it in there and they could edit all day long, so it sounds smooth. You don't notice the cuts. And then at night, when people were gone, they asked us to record tones because it was basically a fish market, and there was refrigerators everywhere that we couldn't shut off.
Yeah. Sure.
So they wanted that tone.
Wow.
There's more to that question. What was the question again?
It was dialogue. Do you record just dialogue? And
Yeah.
Because the sound guy recorded everything.
Smaller features. Post has asked us to record persons on treadmills, just various things that they want because they didn't have time to go back and do it, or they didn't have the resources to go back and do it. Larger features don't care. It depends. Our responsibility is dialogue, period.
Right.
Anything other than that is just bonus for if they have or
So
want.
there's your
or-
technical union grade answer because Jerrid is a member of the union.
I'm union. Yeah. So
The union answer is their job is dialogue and dialogue only.
if you're gonna produce something or direct something and you know you can get it in post, you know you have time and the resources, tell them not to worry about it. Just worry about the dialogue.
Yep.
And if they're not doing that, then
Fire them.
you know not to who to go to next time.
No, I say fire them.
Wow.
I have no
You can
shame.
do that too if you have somebody. You have somebody to bring them
Yeah,
and replace.
just
You gotta
make
have
sure-
somebody to replace.
Yeah. Just make sure you have somebody backed up.
All right, so now it's no more Jerrid questions.
Okay.
I hope I was answering y'all's questions.
I see questions here all the time. These are great.
We've got, can you elaborate on the gh5 time code? I saw the function in the menu. Is
The
this
function
limited
inside the
function?
menu is for setting the time code. It's not to receive time code. It's
Yeah.
to set the time code you want it to be on the tape. You will not be able to set it from the camera to a recording device because there's you've got to have a sync
There's
point
no
for them
jam
to be
sync for
measured
it.
off. It's called jam syncing. So you would go to the sound guy who would come over and hook it in and patch it in, which is another big thing that he's already touched on. But I just want to reiterate, it's very important if you guys are camera operators or shooters directors of photography, or whatever you might be, it is very important that if you have sound on set that is separate of you, that you have a good relationship with them, because A, they're trying to do their job, and B, I've seen it where the camera department was an a-hole to the sound department, and when post saw that the footage wasn't sunk, they asked what's going on, and guess what? They go to sound first, always, which means sound goes, no, they wouldn't give me time code, and guess who got in trouble? Not sound, the camera department. So again, it's a relationship. If you're really making something you care about, you understand that the tie should be in her hand.
There's a feature I worked on this past year. We were working with phantoms. We were doing ultra slow motion, and then we would jump to another camera. The first day, we had issues with time code. I'll tell you what happened later. But basically, this is with a major studio, and because we had problems with time code, they immediately said, fire everybody.
Whoa, there you go.
Fire all your second ACs.
There you go. There it is, right there. True story.
Didn't even want to know
the second AC.
excuse
That's
or
assistant
anything.
camera, not sound people.
Yeah.
That's camera.
And so they were freaked out. They were panicking, and I talked to him. But he's one of the guys is a good friend of mine now. But I was like, well, let's figure out what's going on. Nobody needs to get fired, and everybody was helping everybody out, and that's what I love about features and working, because people are there to do the job, whether they like the project or not. They're there to do a good job, and you develop these great relationships. So he and I worked out what the problem was. We fixed it. Basically, it was my fault. Well, here's the thing. For a while now, the standard was 23976.
Yeah.
This feature decided to do 24.
Straight.
Yeah,
Straight 24.
Yeah.
And you know the reasons for that. I can't remember them, but the mixer forgot to tell me that we were going to 24.
So you say 23976.
So when I handed off
Yeah,
pocket
drift like a
boxes
subdivision,
or slates,
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention. I thought they were all set.
Yeah.
So the cameras were set for one thing, the locket boxes and the slates were set for something else.
Yeah.
Which
Drift got crazy.
Right, they weren't going to match. On top of that, I became friends with the editor. He happened to come by the set one day. It's like, hi, how you doing? I'll give you contact, being nice and doing what I do, being political. And he was like, it's not a big deal. We had just had a hand sync for the first couple of days. Nobody needs to get fired.
Right.
So it wasn't a big deal. It was just...
It's just the fact that that's how serious it is. TC is a big deal.
It's a big deal because it's a time waster.
It's a big deal. Right.
It's a time waster.
It's a
time
big deal
money.
to producers on the other side, and time is money. That
yeah.
is it. That is 100% it. There you go.
Yeah.
I see a question about, is it hard to get a movie on Netflix?
Yeah.
No.
They also ask, how much do you spend making your movies? And that totally just depends on the movie.
The movies we made have all been around or under $2 million each. 5 features around $2 million each.
Of those.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Some of them go higher, some of them go lower.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll go higher than that, some of them go lower than that, but $2 million is the average.
And we've all worked higher and lower.
Yes. We've all
Budget
worked
doesn't
higher.
matter how good or bad the movie is.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris Lott is asking if you have to work with composers a lot. No.
Never.
We hate composers.
Yep. Just as much as I hate sound guys.
Chris is a composer.
Yeah, Chris Lott.
Yeah, he's fishing. He's a good composer.
He's trying to. He's fishing for some compliments.
No, he's not.
I know.
Post audio typically never deals with the
actually
composer
don't.
unless it
No.
goes to the final mixer. But all of the
only reason I dealt with composers because I was doing the whole gambit.
Yeah,
You were doing the
we
whole...
did. Well, we wrote music on one of the movies, even though we had the composers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, typically that goes to the editorial department. Believe it or not, composers go to editorial.
Great documentary score.
Haven't seen it yet.
Oh my god, you should watch it.
Yeah, I'll
So
totally
good.
watch
Love you, Chris.
So good.
We're teasing.
That really,
We're
that
teasing.
really emphasized how much work goes into those scores.
That score's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Real Aaron Collins asked, do we do shorts or features, and are we indie or a studio?
We have done shorts. We have done features.
Yeah.
All of those are indie. We're an indie studio.
Yeah, all those were in
We're
indie
technically
studio.
an indie studio because we
Yeah.
have the soundstage, which is now a movie theater. We're going
Yeah.
to show that to you guys one day. We were an indie studio. We had full staff that supplemented the movies not full staff, but a huge core of staff that made the movies no matter what from beginning to end,
Yeah.
including post and production and
Yeah.
production and post. My wife was costume. She was on roster for a while. Like, so we had, so I would call us an indie studio. So we did 5 features in an indie studio, and then the investor just got bored with movies because he's wealthy and that's what he can do.
And then we've done shorts since then.
And a lot of the shorts we do now are more like independent filmmakers
I'm
style
short
shorts.
with you guys in a while. I should do that.
Yeah,
we should.
No,
You
we're
in town.
doing. We haven't talked about this in a while.
We're doing
it.
Accosted on camera.
No, we want to do a short where we live stream the short, the entire process, allowing feedback from them to get it in. So if someone has a question for sound, our commitment is...
It's so like a learning program.
It is, but we jump over and talk about it, but they can actually experience the making of the short all together and actually influence certain things like, hey, I was thinking this, and you take those notes, and when you're done, you just process them out, give them a producer credit, and move on.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a simple location first.
And it cannot be a time frame because that will slow down.
It's gonna be, right. It's only gonna be like a 4 or 5 page piece, right? Something really simple.
Basically, we're shooting a scene.
You're shooting a scene, but you make it a complete heads and tails short.
And that's the difference between film and TV. Film, we literally worked on 1 5/8 of a page for 15 hours.
Good grief.
That was all was scheduled for the day.
Is that on like Bad Moms or something?
It wasn't. It was and that wasn't even stunts.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But TV, I just worked on a TV show. We did 10 5/8 of a page.
10 5/8 in 10 hours?
Yeah. Less than it took to do
Good
1 5/8.
grief, that's a massive difference.
Yeah.
That's the biggest separation between TV and film. Pages, scripts, I don't know if we've ever talked about it. But scripts are broke down into 8s. So 1 page is 8 of 8, or 1 page. So an 8 tells you how much time. Typically there's an equation that goes to it based on the production, which is actually based on a budget, that you can calculate to determine that. And so like AD is the assistant director, who's basically the manager of all things on set, including time, builds a schedule based on 1/8 takes this. Now, stunts get into the equation. It could just be Jeff punches Drew, they fight. That's the entire slug line. That could be an entire day, because that fight could be
take it a week.
Right.
Yeah,
it could be Born.
No, I was going to say Inception.
Inception.
Yeah, that's another good one.
That room was crazy.
The tunnel.
Yeah.
It took 3 weeks to shoot.
Right. 1 fight scene.
1 fight scene, less than 1/8 of a page, and it wasn't even. I don't think it was even. I can't remember. There was a behind the scenes thing I watched. It was crazy.
The slug line was nothing.
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Right. And that's like the crazy part about film versus
3 weeks to set up.
Right.
For less than 30 seconds of footage.
Right. That's film versus TV, though. Yeah. I don't go to the theater to watch a TV show. No. Like, I want high production value.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, a lot of TV shows nowadays are becoming more theatrical.
They are.
But their page counts are changing. Yeah. You know? I've seen some of those where it's changing. Some of those big shows, they're shooting feature style. Yeah, that's why you're only getting 10 episodes.
And some features are shot like TV.
Uh-huh. Very much so.
A lot of features are shot like Yeah. TP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're notorious for
30 days?
No. They're notorious for saying, okay, this is going to be 15 days, 6 days.
15, like...
They're going to shoot for 15 days and then turn around, and next thing you know, 6 days it's done.
They're shooting a full feature in 6 days.
Yeah.
Theatrically released.
Yeah.
So if you don't believe it can be done, we're not going to say who it is. You can figure it out if you heard what I was saying earlier. Yeah. They're shooting a feature in 6 days that gets a theatrical release and ends up on Netflix, by the way.
You make money because you're in overtime like a mother.
Yeah.
But it's still cheaper than the number of days.
Still cheaper than doing a 4-week shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
It really is. Sucks for the crew.
But the crew sucks.
It
sucks for the crew.
Yeah. This is my thing. I still believe shorter days, longer.
Yeah.
You're spending less money, your crew's happy, and you get a better product. Versus...
Except for travel and living. It's got to be in a production city.
Yeah. That's
the only catch is T&L.
Yeah.
Because like the longer the span, that's gonna crank it up. But if it is a production city, Atlanta, New York, LA, Chicago, if it's a production city, all day long, because then you can say,
you have the people there.
You have the people there. I would be all about it. I'd be about a 6 to 8 hour day, because you're gonna look. Let's face it. The average
Eastwood doesn't shoot past 8 hours.
Yeah. No, and you can't talk on the set.
You can talk. You can't yell.
Yeah, you can't yell.
I would get fired day one.
Most people do.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean,
you do all right. You're gonna be Eastwood's new sound guy. You can just be so quiet.
I can introduce you to some people.
I have a friend that worked on his last one.
Nice.
The 15... Anyway,
Oh,
we're tangenting again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we are.
More questions.
Show the McCoy Craft Show. Where can I find your new movie? I'm on vacation. We want to watch it. Sasquatch. We all three worked on it. Jerrid was the sound recordist.
Yeah.
Jeff was the colors DIT. I was the director.
on-set
Colors twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on-site camera.
And
Steadicam.
yeah, Steadicam. Anyway, it's on Google Play, iTunes in the States. I don't know about overseas. So if you're in the U.S., that's the only one that they've really confirmed. We got a little boned on some of our stuff. It's not our sales agent yet. I can't say it's them yet, but we got a little hosed.
Will it be on Amazon?
It's on Amazon right now too. Yeah, so it's on
Okay.
Google Play for purchase, not for Prime. Prime, it'll come out whenever I release it because I'm holding that back.
Okay.
And it's what we've talked about before, guys. Netflix is the absolute last spot on earth, unless you sell to them directly, like you make Bright, and you sell to them directly.
Which is interesting.
I heard something big about Bright too.
Yeah, they already made a sequel. It's already got greenlit.
Well, no, already about
I can see that.
people that were not credited that movie.
I can
really?
see that.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So
Special
unless you
effects
make
makeup.
a specific movie, was that shot in Atlanta? Bright?
No, it's LA.
Okay. Unless you make a specific movie for Netflix and you have a deal with them, everything else doesn't matter. Like, that's the only thing that matters from making money with Netflix. Otherwise, the deal you're going to get on Netflix when you sell to them, like after you've had your theatrical run, your indie run, your festival run, they're going to carve that deal out separately. It's a really big deal. We've gone through it.
I worked on a Netflix feature.
Yeah, I heard it's a
was-
turn and burn. I heard they're basically like an indie film. I heard
Well,
it's like an indie
here's
film.
the thing. Netflix says, okay, I like your script. This is the budget.
Right,
That's your budget.
right,
You go over, it's out of your pocket.
right. Yeah, there's
you go
no,
under, look what you get to do. You
Right.
get extra money. More likely, production, you want to go under so you have more money for post.
Right.
So that's...
I heard that there's a lot of grinding happening because of that. Meaning if you get a flat check amount. So if I give Jeff $500,000 to make a really small film, I give Jeff $500K. Jeff delivers the movie for $300K. Jeff has $200K under. That's what I heard. I don't know if that part's how true that is. Seems like a business would be like, no.
I don't
You got to have receipts accountable.
And how does it work residual-wise?
There is no residuals.
That's what I thought. So
It's new media. That's how they dodge it.
Yeah.
That's why Joe Dirt 2 was such a controversy because they dodged
Yeah.
the new media clause.
So as an actor, it's not a...
It's exposure only.
it's
Netflix is nothing but a tool for exposure if you are
Yeah.
not delivering directly to Netflix. If you've not been commissioned by Netflix.
So as an actor, you're better off to do a Pantene hair commercial.
Yep.
Not
Yeah.
me, of course. But
Yes.
you're better off to do that because you're going to get residuals for that commercial.
Oh yeah, commercials huge for actors. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I would do. The real trick if you want to get exposure, the best thing in the world is still the system. Unfortunately, is there's only 5 film festivals on Earth that matter to distributors and sales agents.
Cans, cons.
CanCon, Sundance, Toronto. You can argue for South by and sometimes Fantastic Fest. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
That is it. Everything else is fluff, but it's a great way to get your spacing into those. And you can even
Because
say
distributors go.
you
to
could say
those.
what's the big one in New York? The
Tribeca.
Tribeca. You
Yeah,
could say
that
Tribeca
one's-
too, but
yeah.
Tribeca and Fandom
It's-
Fest or
yeah.
Fantastic Fest go back and forth.
Yeah.
Fantastic Fest because it's genre, and genre ends up getting you a spot. Look at all the directors coming out. Ryan Johnson, director of my least favorite movie of all time, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. There's spoilers.
I haven't seen it yet.
I like Ryan Johnson, but he's a genre director, right? Trevorrow.
Trevor Roffenoff.
Yeah, that guy. Trevinophorus. Colin Trevorrow, the guy who read Jurassic World. His first movie was Safety Not Guaranteed, genre film. So, Fantastic Fest, where all those movies played, also Sundance, but still they played there as well. So, that's all that really matters on that side, which I think is good and bad. You can still make money,
Yeah.
but all those festival awards don't mean anything. No one cares about festivals unless they know the 5 big brands. And Fantastic Fest / Tribeca, most people don't know. Everybody knows Sundance. My mom and dad know Sundance. If you want to figure out if a festival's worth it, go ask someone over the age of 65 if they've heard of that festival.
Well, Sundance has its own channels.
Right. So, there you go, branding. That's it.
Anyway, yeah.
That's it.
Tangenting questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a long one.
Eric, what are some audio effects you always put on interview audio? Premiere. That
I
would
think
be
it's
a
just
Drew and
general.
Jerrid question.
I throw an EQ on there is what I typically do. That Jay gave me.
EQ, and then if you have a bad
Limiter,
AC or limiter thing,
Yeah.
but
What
you
about-
can always You can always, the limiter's just to make sure you don't go over a certain amount.
We're gonna have another guy on that's an audio engineer, a post audio engineer.
Yeah.
Talking about Jay.
Yeah.
And Jay will give you the exact. We're gonna get a
Numbers.
formula from. Yeah, he came in and mixed for
Yeah.
me. He
I'll go
never
sit over
touched
there.
a slider. He literally would walk in and be like, 10.5, 3. Do that as -2. No. Hold on. It has a frequency of this -4, and I'm telling you, the clarity night and day was unreal. But if I ask Jay to record audio, I get basic level audio. I don't get great artistic audio. I don't get delivery of.
I was about to say, there's
nothing wrong with it.
no. And there's
That's why I love
two
Jay.
different forms. Jay's a technician.
Yeah.
And he's so good at it.
And I would say
You're more creative, Art.
Yeah.
I'm a more artistic.
Yeah.
Autistic.
For post. That too.
Yeah,
You're
It's just a
autistic.
different film.
You're autistics.
Yeah.
Just give me all the tistics. I'll take them all. The way things going, I think the lines are being blurred between TV and features. I agree. Except for reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reality TV has destroyed everything.
What
Yeah,
about
that's one of the worst
Jason
things to
Brubaker
shoot
and
on.
distributor? MP4podcast.com. If you will shoot me an email, we'll have a great conversation. I'll send you what I know. But I will tell you this. It's drew@craftshow.com is my email. I will tell you this. Those guys are great. I've had friends give me some bad stories. I don't know about Jason directly, but like I've had friends give me bad stories about distributor where they were unhappy with what happened in their relationship. Right now, in case you don't know, Amazon Prime, for example, allows you to post your movie onto Amazon Prime for free. You just have to get closed captioning done, and you can actually pick worldwide distribution markets. So if your goal is just to get on digital platforms, I would actually do Amazon because the pay rate is better, and it suddenly shows up on Prime. It doesn't pay you out directly as strong as you want, but you can actually choose the rental price. You can choose whether or not it's going to enter Prime, but you can put it up there. You can choose whether or not, rather, it's going to go to VOD. But you can put it up there. I have 2 films up there. If you look for one called we have a short film on there, which they take short films, called The Saturday, which we made for fun on a Saturday. And Chris Lott did a great score on that one.
Yeah.
And then we did, we put a documentary we finished up there called Who Are You People that we all had to do. You fixed audio and
you
Jeff
did. I
color graded and
colored it,
fixed some problems with it. That documentary's up there and it's on Amazon Prime because that's what the filmmaker wanted to do. So I'm telling you, your best angle, if I were you, is to self-distribute and spend the rest of the money you're going to pay distributor to do your own marketing campaign and drive people. So many people have Amazon. And if you don't believe me, Alexa. Dude, Alexa is one of the most popular items sold at Christmas this year, which means people are going to get Amazon Prime accounts, which means they have access to Amazon Prime. So if you look at where you're at now, promote the shittle out of it on Amazon Prime and see how that works. I hope that helps, MPEG, podcast.com. Shamelessly plugging you.
That was MP4 podcast.
MP4podcast.com.
MPEG's another one.
Yes,
MPEG also asked the question earlier.
Craft Show, do your guests have any rules of thumb for the level of background music on a talking head track? This post audio. A lot of people, especially YouTubers, drive me crazy because all you hear is the music, not dialogue. So level, like if you have a decibel rule, like if my volume roughly.
That's a Jay question.
But just in your past mix, like when we mixed in score to a scene. I go with 3 dBs under the vocal pattern, the bass level pattern.
It depends on how they're talking. I mean, I have to get a feel for it.
Right.
That's me personally. I know some people have a formula. I'm sure, like Jay would have a
Jay
formula.
probably does.
Nolan obviously threw the formula out the window when he did Interstellar.
Right.
But he said that was an artistic choice. Whether I believe him or not, that's a flippable coin. People want to hear the dialogue, so bring it down.
Well, mine is typically I do 3 dB under, and then that's my starting point.
Yeah, I would say
The music
3 to
is
5.
3 to 5 under. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I figured.
I
Sorry,
like-
Trev.
I like-
He's an artsy guy.
I like to double it. So if you go 3, I'll probably go 6. And if it's just you can't hear it, then bring it up a dB at a time, and make sure your ears are rested when you listen to it. Ear fatigue is a big thing.
Yeah, same eye fatigue for color.
I watch stuff on my Android phone all the time, MPEG, on Amazon. I watched all of Sneaky Pete. What's the name of the show?
Sneaky Pete?
Peaky Blinders?
No, the one with
Oh, Sneaky Pete on
Giovanni.
Amazon.
I love that show.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't
Oh
seen it
my
yet
god,
either.
it's my jam, and season 2's coming out. I watch that. So Netflix is not a way to go. No, Netflix is a great way to go for distribution when you're done with all of your other pieces. So the Netflix model works like, here's a wad of cash, and it's usually less than your movie's worth. Here's a wad of cash, take this money, and then we have an exclusive contract for 2 years that it cannot be shown anywhere. Typically, they're going to say in the U.S. That means no one who has Amazon only, no Hulu, no transactional, which is like VOD sales, which is where your profit margins are highest. They're just going to get that. Yes, your face is out there. Yes, everyone can see you. Oh my God, I'm on Netflix. But you have not made the revenue back to offset the cost of your movie. So if your goal is shamelessly self-promoting yourself and seeing you out there, then yes, Netflix is the way to go. I'm just saying that I think Amazon Prime is a better way to get it out there, to get exposure, plus generate some revenue back into yourself a little bit better.
Because they can sell the DVD at the same time you're watching.
That is correct.
Streaming.
That is correct. Netflix does not have that option for you. And Netflix is exclusive, at least in my experience, which has been 2 films now. Both of those films were Netflix exclusive deals where my Convergence is not on Amazon. It's going to be up this year, but it's not on Amazon until 2018 because I had an exclusive deal from 2016 that prevented me from putting it on Amazon.
No, I was going to say Netflix did something very interesting this year with Stranger Things, which I thought was really wild because they actually now have created something that could generate a residual because they started making the box set for Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The album for Stranger Things.
Right.
Which is odd.
Right.
Why would you buy something you can stream for free?
Because
you're a collector.
Right.
So, I know 2 people that got it for Christmas.
Yeah. And
so it's a niche. It's a niche market concept.
And it's pretty phenomenal that it happened. I mean, I like Stranger Things, but I'm not a crazy fan. I'm not a fanboy of anything, really.
Right. Vinyl. You're a fanboy of vinyl?
Yeah.
You like vinyl?
I do.
Yeah. He likes vinyl.
Yeah.
Is Clark here?
Especially vinyl pants. Oh, no.
Did you guys use Artlist music for your feature? No, it did not exist at the time. We used... Artlist is the thing I was talking about. Yeah. Artlist.io.
Oh, okay.
We did not have that. We didn't use every piece of music in all 5 of our features was
curated.
Was either composed by professional composers, composed by semi-professional composers, or knuckle turds, with the exception of songs that we licensed. And I'm very picky about the songs I license. And by licensed songs, I mean songs that you may or may not have heard, or it's alternate versions. For Nigel and Oscar versus Sasquatch, for example, there's a band called Primus. They have a song called Jerry Was a Race Car Driver. We found out that Les Claypool had recorded a bluegrass version of that that's really hickish and funny. We got a license of that song. We also got a license of 9 to 5, working 9 to 5, which was bluegrass as well. Those we did pay licensing on.
There was a song you wanted to use. We will not talk about names on this. There was a song you wanted to use.
We've already done one for Convergence.
I've already told the whole story. Filter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I told the whole story.
Well, no, I didn't want to say the name because I met the guy's brother.
Oh, crap. Nice guy?
He's a nice guy. He doesn't like his brother.
Oh, copy. Heard. There we go.
Chris.
Yeah.
Be awesome for you guys to either bring on or talk about financing a film. How do you fundraise for different budgets or genres? What method of funding are practical?
I will do that. We will do that in a live episode for 2018. I promise you that, Chris.
When you do that one, it would.
So make sure you subscribe. That's not a shameless plug for us, but just make sure you do.
And we'll try to bring somebody on for that.
Shameless plug.
Sneaker Pete was great. So would you now use a service like Artlist for a feature, or would you stay away? No, I would use some stuff for Artlist. Like if I were using background music. He would take it up all day, like especially like if it was a bar scene or some non-generic type stuff I throw in the background. I probably wouldn't use Artlist for any hero moment because that needs to be a handcrafted moment.
Yeah, I agree.
And Artlist, the fact that anybody can get to that song, unless it's really connected to the character.
Unless a composer put something out there that was just perfect.
Yeah, I mean that's true. The story first.
Yeah.
But it's not tailored to the film.
It's gonna be so hard to find.
I don't have it in here. It's at home now.
You, in theory, you would have to find that piece and go, I'm going to write a scene for this piece.
Yeah, it's totally right.
For it to be...
It's totally right.
Yeah. Which I'd love to do that one.
Write a scene.
Write a piece of music and do the backwards of...
Write the scene to the music?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll do that. These guys will do it.
Write the script and everything.
We'll do that for our scene.
Okay.
Speaking of music, we're going to have a pack. Jerrid is a composer. He doesn't like to talk about this. I'm throwing this out there now. We're actually going to have a bunch of his music. We're going to throw it up on the CRFTSHO Frame 29 sale website that we have. If you guys haven't seen it, we have some killer LUTs. I'm going to show you some of that in just one second. But Jerrid has agreed to let us license some of his stuff. We're going to get some from Chris eventually. Chris just doesn't know it yet. We're going to throw some of that up there because I think the one thing is Artlist is amazing and I love it, but there are times where I want some really, like, I want to feel an artist's music. Not that these guys didn't, but Jerrid, I can call Jerrid and have a conversation. So we may then tailor future playlists for download. There is a fee involved, obviously, but future playlist will be slightly tailored. Like, hey, I need more vlog music or whatever, and Jerrid will write whatever.
Do the best. I'm not trained, so I'll do the best I can.
But that's what I'm saying. It's organic and real music.
I'm truly an artist in the sense I just do it by feel.
So it's cool.
I never went to school for any of this.
Yeah, I'm not doing that to shamelessly promote slightly, but I'm not, and that Jerrid does that. So if you haven't seen, we released some LUTs, and we've talked to a bunch of people in the community that have used them. We've also seen some really crazy sales numbers, which is amazing because half of everything that we make off these LUTs is going to the Depew family. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's in the show notes. But if you have a chance, check out the GoFundMe that we've talked about. Vicky and Jonathan are very close friends at CRFTSHO. She got diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. It's pretty aggressive. On a Friday, it was so aggressive they had her in the hospital away from her family. She's still there now. She did not get to spend Christmas with her kids. She's still in treatment. And we're trying to
just... did get to go up before Christmas.
They did get to go up right before Christmas, thankfully. We're just trying to bless that family. That's something that's important to us. But we also have these killer LUTs. And these LUTs, everyone that's used them has talked about how amazing they are and how great they are. They will not save your footage, but if you shot your footage just good, not even perfect, just good, I will tell you it's a great neutral starting platform. Everyone has fallen in love with them that's used them. If you have a chance, head over to frame29films.com, and in the top corner you'll see CRFTSHO LUTs. It's there. It's also in the show notes. I'm not shamelessly plugging, but I am because it helps somebody I care about and love. Check those out. That's also where you'll find Jerrid's music, potentially some Chris LUTs music, and other stuff. But we wanted to show you some of that. So what I'm going to do is just show you guys a real quick bit of log and HLG footage, and we'll kind of talk about it as we go. But this stuff is it's pretty fascinating. So I shot it log, and then I'd shoot the exact same shot, replicating it best I could with HLG. I tried to match the exposure. The problem with HLG is it crushes everything pretty dark. So I put it under the bottom. I'm going to play that stuff. We're going to be eerily quiet and let you guys just look at it, and we'll come back and talk over it. So here is some of that content, right? Let me get rid of the Chatsky box. There's away.
Hide your belly.
Hide your belly, Jeff. We're still live, but there. You guys can kind of see. This is log footage using the neutral LUT. When you buy the LUT, and there's HLG. Can you talk about it?
I'm behind, so...
Oh, you're up here.
Yeah.
Again, that's actually HLG first, and then the next one is going to be log.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I still want to know what the exact dynamic range is.
Now, this is a LUT that you were playing with, though. This is an HLG corrector. This is HLG Rec 709 LUT. This is a HLG with Jeff's new corrective LUT. We're not ready to release it yet, but Jeff experiment with. So it's taking HLG footage and making it into 709 friendly. That is log.
Yeah, I started playing with doing a corrective. It's basically a 2020 HLG to 709 correction.
It's gonna loop, guys.
That's
log using our new neutralizing LUT.
I'm still working on. I basically went outside this morning and shot an overcast day to try make my LUT off of.
And that's HLG. Obviously, it's dark as crap.
And I need to actually properly set up the lighting to get the thing to work out right. But yeah, I think a lot of people or what I've seen a lot of people doing is trying to use HLG in 709 color space. So I'm trying to help people with that.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before. The problem is HLG is inherently darker. You need more light to get into it, and the gh5 is not necessarily the world's fastest, low light camera.
Yeah, well, I'm also there's some stuff that I saw recently that was somebody saying that shooting the top ISO with HLG produces absolutely no noise, and I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true either. I've seen it. I mean,
I also not going to troll people or try to sell people on something of mine because they tried to shoot something stupidly.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So,
but yeah, so that's some of that content. So the thing about all that and the LUTs and all that stuff is we wanted to figure out, can you is there an argument to be made for HLG replacing log? And I don't want to answer that yet. That's going to be a video that comes out this week. So if you have not subscribed or you are a subscriber, that's coming for you. We're experimenting with it. When we do launch it, if we're able to solve the problem, we are going to release an HLG, what we call HLG 709 to 709. And the reason we say that is because if you're using Premiere or you're using Final Cut and you're not actually taking it to the Rec 2020 color space, you're losing the information anyway. Most people that we've seen take HLG footage and put it into a Rec 709 color space and expect an amazing result. It's not going to happen that way from what we've experimented with. Obviously, I consider us to be pretty in depth on HDR at this point because we've spent so much time dealing with it, not just with Heirloom, but with our other content, all of our small batch creative content, which is coming out soon, hopefully. All of that stuff has been shot HDR and prepped for HDR. So we've experimented in that space, and I'll just say this. HLG does not replace log. It doesn't.
No,
in
not
fact,
at all.
you need log in order to shoot PQ, which is HDR10, which is our preferred way.
And you could do PQ of others, but log's probably out of the gh5
Well,
is the one I'd recommend.
Yeah, out of the gh5 for sure. The HLG element, finding a way to trick it into being a poor man's log, it depends. If you're a hobbyist, that's what we're going to create this LUT for. Or in a pinch, if you need to turn some HLG footage to Rec 709, we're going to create that LUT and have it available for you. It'll be there. But the truth of it is, in reality, you need to shoot HLG for HLG delivery.
Yes.
And you need to shoot log. The one thing about log that wins over HLG is log can go to Rec 709 very easily. It can go to PQ very easily. It can go to HLG very easily if you know how to deal with the post-in process. Some of that requires advanced stuff like DaVinci. But if you're shooting HLG and you want to put something straight onto YouTube and show everybody HDR, 4K HDR content, I think it's great. Otherwise, I think HLG has its place very specifically.
Yeah.
That said, again, if you have something that was shot HLG and you need to correct it for 709, we're gonna work on getting that for you, and we'll have that LUT available. And again, that one we'll probably find another charitable group to go after, or maybe we'll give it to the Pews. We don't know yet, but like anything we do, we try and split the proceeds best we can to give it away to folk. That'll exist as well for you. That's coming up, but I just wanted to tease it in your brain. We're gonna have a full study, comprehensive frame lens test and whatever quality test as we get into it in that space. So the other thing I want to talk about, I know Jerrid's
How does it sound?
Yeah, HLG sounds amazing. There was an amazing sale that we fell into. I know that the Sigma 18 to 35 art is a very controversial lens to some because people say it's too sharp. Oh, dude, it's a gorgeous lens.
I was looking at it because it was like $600 or something.
Oh, we bought it.
Yeah.
For B&H? Yeah, we straight bought it.
Yeah.
You can borrow it anytime. It is hands down
What's
one
the
of my
mount?
EF. Oh, you want a Nikon?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Nikon guy like Elise. The EF mount, we bought that because it was on sale. Oh, Elise. You know she's a crasher now. She's straight up rolled up in this business.
I told her to contact you.
Yeah, well, she's like we love her.
Good. She's great.
Oh,
Great.
She directs. I've been training her. She's a beast. Anyway, offline now. That lens was on sale at B&H for like $600, and that's crazy, or $500.
Now, did y'all get the thing to calibrate it or whatever it does? What's the
I don't
USB
need that.
port?
We don't need
What
that.
is that for?
That's for Canon cameras, where it will calibrate to the camera.
The backing?
better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
We have to
something-
use an adapter called a speed booster that connects to the. That's what we have on that camera right now, and it mounts to it and does this whole thing. So we bought this
ultra sharp. Then.
It is super sharp.
How are the edges on the?
Super sharp.
Really?
Dude, it is sharp. But what I love about it is I like having a sharp image that then me and Jeff get to control how unsharp we want to make it. And we have techniques for doing that. One of those being ProMist filters. We've talked about that. One of those being like just post-processing tricks. There's a lot of ways you can soften it up. The reason I like the lens so much is it's weighty. It's fast. It's a 1.8. And then when you put a speed booster, it takes it to like a... You guys know. What is it? Just answer it in the comments. It takes it down. 1.7 or 0.7 or... I don't care. It just does a really good job.
Yeah.
I shot the North Carolina trip with it, and I was floored. The weight of that lens, it's so nice to have a heavy lens. Like, you know, you can just, it feels, so like the one we used to love was this Leica, because that's real Leica glass.
Oh.
It's beautiful.
But it's light.
But it's light, and it also is not a fixed.
Weight equals balance.
Weight equals balance, that's it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was just like one of the things I talked to a director about on the episodes because film and TV we work with different directors, so I get a chance to meet different directors. It's fun for me. But they were talking about how they use 3 different techniques to do a dream sequence. One of them was Vaseline.
Yep, the classic.
The Lens Baby, and I can't remember what the third one was. But they ended up settling with the Vaseline.
Of course. The oldest method, right?
Messiest, hardest to use, but it looked the best.
It looks great. I love Vaseline on the glass. Jerrid also is and actually it's easier now because you can put the Vaseline on a UV clear or an FX plate, and then you just pull the FX plate and you're done. Jerrid's also a pretty good photographer. What's your Instagram thing? Because if people want to see your Instagram.
Oh.
Jerrid's a stills guy. He's Nikon.
Jonesy Jerrid. So JONESYJERRID.
Yeah, if you have a chance, check it out. He does these portraits, and there's a couple of famous faces mixed in.
Yeah, there's some famous ones.
There's some portraits in there that are just insane. I'm totally obsessed with them. They're awesome. If you have a chance, check those out. I wanted to shamelessly play that earlier. The other thing I want to talk about is this bad boy. We picked this up. I was asked what I wanted for Christmas, and I said I needed a camera backpack for our gh5, so we came across this. It's a Peli, and what I thought was kind of interesting for camera nerds is that. So you have a hard Pelican case. Down on the bottom here is all kinds of cool pouches and whatever, but you've got a great way to store your lenses. It locks in place, and then up top is a full camera body version. I've got a bunch of crap in there that I brought from home, and it's also a backpack. And it has a tripod loop on the side, so you can hang your tripod off, do all that stuff. We got it because I was tired of carrying like a little shoulder bag around all over the place, and I felt like this would be better. Though we all sat here and innovated how much cooler it would be if this Pelican case could come out. So we're gonna figure out how to rebuild that and make our own.
Or call Pelican and say, hey, make the case come out.
But I want money.
Pelican, pay us for designs.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what we want. Is there any other questions in the chat? I haven't popped it up. Let's pop it back up. Anything going on, Jeff? You've been kind of quiet today, Jeff.
Tangent suggestions for an affordable HDR monitor for grading.
Shogun, Atmos,
TV Logic, Small HD.
Yeah, but I would go with I like the Atmos.
I like Atmos the most so far.
Atmos, the Sumo, we can't wait to try one.
I'm interested in TV Logic as well now, just because I love TV Logics from an AC standpoint.
They're just expensive.
Well, it's comparable to the Sumo.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is 1.2
for what size?
our answer?
Yeah, 1.2 is your T-stop.
Yeah. 1.2.
Or
Thank
f-stop
you
for that, because it's a
Thank
photo
you,
lens.
Wool Vision. Only DSR lens in Carol, not Leo. Way too sharp. I just got my Tiffin Black Premise today, coincidentally. There you go. I love it. If you haven't had a chance, hey Trev, check out the digital film tools. I don't know if you looked at those yet.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it last year.
I'm
Does
going to
everyone
buy
know where HDR came from? How it started?
with the photography, the bracketing. A lot of people do actually. You'd be surprised. Well,
I remember like starting working with you and having to learn how to do all that stuff.
yeah, the up and down bracketing. Yeah, we've been in HDR. You've been in HDR for a long time.
But it was mostly for CG.
Yeah. Well, it was so you could actually do
lighting for CG.
Lighting elements. Yeah. MPEG says you can use an HDR TV. You can calibrate a TV just the same as a monitor. Kind of true. Mostly true. MPEG, you can probably calibrate a TV for a monitor. Some of us in our engineers may or may not have that ability. Though, it gets pretty close. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
You could do an iWrite or something like that and get pretty close to it.
Yeah. The biggest thing is make sure your TV has the ability of choosing the color space. I bought my parents an LG that had HDR.
Choosing color space, motion.
Well, theirs
off.
did not have the ability to choose color space. You can only choose wide gamut or something else. Like, it was weird. So you don't know what the color space is. The Sony that we use, and I'm not endorsing Sony by any means, but the Sony we have...
You can switch to 2020s, 709s, RGB.
Right, but then it also allows you to pick HDR10, and it labels it correctly, and HLG, and Adobe Color or something funky.
Yeah, it does Adobe RGB.
Yeah, it does Adobe RGB.
But, I mean, some TVs will do HDR Plus, HDR10 Plus as well.
Which is getting into Dolby Vision.
Yeah, Dolby Vision. There's a couple that are doing Dolby Vision as well.
But the problem is the TVs aren't really showing you Dolby Vision. That's marketing.
Oh, no.
The number of nits they're actually outputting is not 40,000 nits.
To do a true Dolby Vision, you have to be able to put out at least 10,000 nits.
The TV thing works. Oh,
Those
Victor
automatic
Bart.
on Some TVs it is.
I love my
Yeah,
Olympus.
Victor's been around the whole show.
Good.
Yeah.
I love Vic.
I too.
Old Victor Bart. He's one of my favorite guys on the planet.
Hi, Vic. Don't know you. We haven't met.
Tree? True.
True.
Okay.
Try
There he is,
true.
Victor Bart. Victor's... supposedly UHD
If you're
premium
watching
TVs
YouTube.
can do true 2020.
Now, are they saying retro machines?
Yeah, that's true,
in,
Clark.
in reference to.
Oh, he built
Old
retro
computers.
computer machines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, because there's a Native Instruments plugin called Retro
Yeah.
Machines.
Gotcha.
No, he's in... no, that's a good point, but he's in
Yeah.
Netherlands. No consumer TV can do 2020.
There's technically no TV out there that can truly show HLG or HDR.
Yeah, it's a weird situation.
So
Kinda
at least
like-
according to the white papers.
But
of
think of it
BBC
this way.
and
Think of it this
Eurovision.
way. Even though you can't truly show true HLG or HDR or 2020, neither can your audience see it, so you might as well grade as close to
Yeah.
it as you can because they can't see the difference.
It's kind of the same problem years ago when 4K just started.
It's the exact same problem.
Yeah.
It's 100%
There's a
the
few
same
projectors that can do true 2020 and above.
issue. We're about to have one.
Yeah, about to have two.
We're gonna. So
In this
our
building.
old studio is now being turned into a movie theater, and that theater has 4K laser. So we will actually have true 2020. And you better believe I'm going to sneak some heirloom up onto that son of a bitch. We already got permission to do so.
Yep.
So we will have 4K HDR, 239 anamorphic, 2020, true 2020 color space, and we will see that we suck at our jobs.
With analog
No.
audio.
Yeah, with Dolby Atmos. Good luck figuring that. Can you figure that out real quick in a week? Can you figure out some Atmos?
Start mixing some Atmo for us.
That's a whole other room you have to work in.
Yeah.
That's a whole. Yeah, it's a whole.
It's a
headache.
whole nother engineering process.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dolby Atmos is crazy.
And the only movie I know recently.
I don't know the nits of the projector yet. What they gave us, the specs we read.
Yeah.
What
From
was
the
it?
specs, it's way over 10,000 nits.
Yeah,
The
no,
laser.
It was way over that.
It
It was
came,
like
yeah.
30,000.
It was close
It
to
was
30.
Dolby HDR. It was Dolby Vision
Yeah.
level. It was crazy numbers. So but nits with projectors and marketing is different than nits that you get
Yes.
off of a screen. So you have to go through and actually measure the nits from kickback. You can't just go by.
Yeah, we have to wait
the
until
luminance.
it's actually set up.
Yeah, you can't go by the
By
luminance
whoever
for-
sets it
Oh,
up.
because they're only the space of the theater we're in only is presenting it in 30% of its
Yeah.
projection power capacity. So we're not even getting full nits because the throw distance is not big enough. It's
Yeah.
a 80-person theater
Yeah,
or
not
two
a full
80-person.
Science.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
totally
it's a lot of
science.
science. Stuff that I am, too much for me.
Yeah. That sound yes, exactly. That sounds bogus, honestly. What sounds bogus? That it's 30%? Well, if you put it on full blast, based on what NEC, the people who make the projector,
Yeah.
told us in conversation, put on full blast, it'll actually wash out based on the throw distance because there's a distance the light has to travel, and you're compensating for the fact that the projector lamp is putting
Yeah.
out so much. So the nits
But it's
is
not
not
an actual lamp, it's a laser.
right. Whatever, you get the
Which
point.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Take a flashlight this far away and put it
Mhm.
closer, it gets
Yeah.
brighter.
Yeah, it is exactly the problem. So that's exactly what,
Yeah.
what they were saying.
No
Over,
over
no
10,000.
over 10,000 nits. I will send you, and I got your email. I will
Yeah.
send you a link and show you what maybe you can solve it. You're a better engineer than we are.
Yeah.
And help us figure it out, but I'll send it to you. It's pretty intense. That's why it's 4K laser. And there's only, actually this is the first theater in the United States that will have it. This particular projector. It's the first theater in the U.S. to have it.
I think it's the second. Isn't there one in LA that has it?
Not the NEC.
Oh.
They
there
have
was.
the other company. What's
Gotcha.
the other big? Cine Dime.
Yeah.
Cine, not Cine Dime. What's the other one? Shoot, whatever the big one is.
Arca?
Yeah. Oh no, we don't own it. This is a $250,000 projector, dude. We don't own it. The
Yeah.
movie theater put it in. It's a real. This is a commercial.
We just
movie
happen
theater.
to be in the same building.
Yeah, it's our old.
It's
building.
not ours.
Yeah, we don't own it. It's
Yeah.
$250K. It's a big boy. It's a real projector.
Yeah, no, it's not consumer grade MPEG. This is
It's professional.
It's a
like-
professional theatrical.
Yeah, it's for
projector.
theatrical. Like, so the first film they're opening with, even though it's past due, they just want to show it off, is The Last Jedi. So The Last Jedi 4K, Dolby Atmos. I'm
Your
excited
favorite
about
movie.
it. I'm going to see
Yeah,
it
I'll go
and
see
not
it again
care.
too. Exactly.
because I get to see it in 4K.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Shh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that clues up. Right. That is not consumable. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I figured MPEG. I'll send you the link. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it
Maybe
is
you can help us
fascinating.
figure it
Yeah,
out.
you could probably help
We
us
actually
with a lot
need
of
help,
stuff.
and that's an offline discussion
Yeah.
we'll have. All right, we've been on the air for 2 hours. How did we do this again?
We didn't drink too much.
I know. We were only supposed to be on the air for an hour, and we went 2.
It's a lot of this.
Yeah, there he goes, making fun of me.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Let's talk more.
Oh, now
More
he's ready to
questions.
talk.
More questions.
Now he's excited. Now he
Jared's
sees
all
what
happy.
it is.
Thought we found. I wish if I found a pot of gold, MPEG, you'd probably never see me again.
Yeah, no joke. That'd be epic.
I'd be gone.
That'd be super epic.
Not enough beer in the show. That is absolutely correct, Victor.
There's definitely not enough beer.
Too much talking, not enough drinking.
Yeah,
That's
I've
right.
got probably. I've got about 30 minutes till I have to leave.
Yeah.
You have responsibility.
Yeah, I gotta go pick up a wife or get. Never see me again.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I have to go through this 2-hour show and find the time code marks to drop in, like, here's Jerrid saying this, here's Jeff saying this.
Why do you have to do that?
Because nobody wants to watch the full 2 hours.
Yeah. Would you want to watch a full 2 hours?
Yes.
Hey, make sure you talk to the microphone like Horst did.
Now I'm going to look directly into the microphone, or the lens.
But Jerrid, people need salads.
All right, cool.
Too much fun to fit in 1 hour. That is absolutely
Yep.
true. Trev,
It
thanks
is.
everybody. Hope you have an absolutely wonderful New Year's. If you have any other questions, even for Jerrid, just send them to drew@craftshow.com or jeff@craftshow.com. We'll be
We'll
happy
send
to. You
over.
can follow him on Instagram. I suggest you do it. He puts up art. He doesn't just put up random pictures of food and his kids like I do. And it's
No, it's
Jonesy
amazing
Jerrid at Jonesy Jerrid, right?
Jonesy Jerrid. Yeah, just Jonesy Jerrid.
Jonesy Jerrid.
And you have to request to follow me. I have to approve. Blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
he's a snob, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
If
I just want to make sure you're a real person. That's all.
Yep.
No, you don't want.
I will check Shaoba McCoy. I will check that for you.
4062.
Shoot me an email to
And
remind
so
me.
make a
I will
note.
check it for you. The lens, we just ordered it, so the lens, our Sigma is not here yet. It's on its way in.
Yeah, congrats, Vic, on joining the anamorphic crowd.
Doc Hayes.
Yeah, he's asked a couple questions.
Yeah. Vlog versus Cine like D in low light situations. Which comes out on top? Vlog.
It matters
Shot
on the
correctly.
situations, really. Yeah, and we've done Vlog in dark, and we've done Cine Light D in dark, and we've done Natural in dark, and they've all worked out pretty good.
Yep. That's true. Okay. Well.
And Trev's
we're done.
right.
Yeah. Always use native lenses if you can.
Yeah,
If you're worried about
as
autofocus.
is the best for autofocus.
I just find that the Sigma art focuses way better, personally.
I do
just-
too.
It's so much easier to deal with.
It seemed that way.
Yeah, and then you soften it up. I'll fool you guys. I'm going to shoot some stuff with it, with the Leica versus it. We've already done that test. If you haven't seen
Have
that
you
video,
ever
check
with
it
the
out.
light camera?
Uh,
With like the 16 lenses in it?
no, we want to play with one of those.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah, that's the problem. We need someone to send us one. All right. Victor Bart, welcome to Anamorphic Land. Have fun never seeing anything square again. We'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to
There you
check
go.
out the video this week. Follow Jerrid. Hang out with me and Jeff. If you've got questions, email. We're going to stay in the chat ski. Goodbye.